Hi all, thanks so much for listening. So now I'm going to read Jared's bio. So Jared is from France and he became paraplegic. Jared was 21 when he was in a car accident in Austin, Texas, that left him paraplegic. When asked about the aftermath of the accident, Jared stated he experienced a period of mourning and you have to readjust what your sense of person is. It is literally the mourning of what you were, which included walking around. After some time, he realized that he is the exact same person that he was. He just had new limitations, which required adjustments. Over the past 20 years, Jared moved from Austin and has lived in Scotland, London, and now resides in France. He is a writer and an artist who has traveled to many different countries and has gained an appreciation for countries that are accessible. He said, "It is ridiculous how accessible Japan is. The US is pretty good because ADA is enforced." He also noted that Scandinavian countries are extremely accessible, with Germany and the Netherlands next on the list. The countries he noted that are terrible when it comes to having and enforcing accessibility codes are places like France and Italy. For example, in the US, when I rent a car, I tell them I am in a wheelchair and I tell them I need hand controls. As long as I do that within 24 to 72 hours in advance, it has never been a problem. In France, it is not even possible. Jared does not see himself as disabled. He has great upper body strength and can get around well. Most of the time, I do not think about my wheelchair. I just go about my life just as if you were left-handed. The most common issue he runs into is non-accessible restrooms. Toilets are always the hardest, especially in Europe, because a lot of these buildings did not have them when they were built. Jared explained that often he can get himself to the toilet, but is unable to close the door behind himself because of the lack of space for him and his wheelchair. Many older buildings do not have ramps or elevators, only stairs. Jared can pop a wheelie to climb anything that is 20 centimeters in height, like entering a train or a curb, one large step, but the moment there are two or more small steps, it is impossible for him. Jared intentionally has a very lightweight wheelchair that is less than 9 pounds so that he can easily maneuver or lift it. His kids also like to sit in his lap and take a ride on the Papa Trolley, occasionally when out exploring cities. Restaurants in the U.S. are often more accessible than the ones in Europe due to the enforced ADA codes. Restaurants tend to be okay, but the worst are the tables with the center legs and then with the feet. And I cannot get close enough to sit closely to the table. Retail spaces are usually okay, but there are often small bodegas, small grocery stores or markets, that are impossible to access in a wheelchair. In those cases, people are typically willing to help and assist you as needed. Jared does not expect the world to bend over backwards to accommodate him everywhere, but he stated, "I am less patient than I was because these laws have been around for 20 years. If you wanted to make it accessible, you could have, but you didn't care." As I mentioned in the beginning, Jared is a writer and has a new book that just debuted in 2021. It is called The Coward, which is about a disabled character, and it mirrors a lot of Jared's experiences. Check it out. Thanks so much for listening.